We're doing yeah, it's like I think it's he would rather he doesn't like the stuff that
Look at it, just a creep.
So he's gunning for me. He's talking
So we're gonna, all right. Does everybody have a handout for this? All right, so our next team will be presenting the Francis Fry article on breaking the trade-off between efficiency and service.
All right, thanks, Dr. Sampson. Well, today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to treat you to a gripping dramatization. This will be featuring Stephen, the builder, Boris, the mayor, and Bob, the friend. And it's going to be about the British bicycle company. Right. So Stephen Corbell, the owner and manager of the manufacturer British Bicycle Company, or BBC, is in a meeting with Boris, the mayor of London, to discuss a new opportunity for expanding their business relationship. Boris, good to meet you.
Thanks for meeting with me today.
Thanks for being here. I'm flattered.
You bet. You know, your company's been operating like the best bicycle factory in Britain for about 100 years, so I'm coming with you with a new opportunity today.
Well, I'm flattered. Go on.
So you've been supplying our postal system with the bicycles that they've been using. You've done a fantastic job, so I'm coming with another opportunity for you today. So what this is we're proposing to open a chain of rental bicycle shops around London, and we want you to help take part in that. We want you to take all the profits.
Wow, that sounds really interesting. We've been talking for years about branching out, and in fact our factory practically runs itself, as you can see here, with our Six Sigma process and whatnot. You know, we have a few rental shops, really shouldn't be any problems for us. Let me talk it over with my management team, and I'll get back to you.
Stephen from BBC is meeting with his old chum from college, Bob Crackles. They are sitting at a table in a London pub, eating their flexitarian meals and drinking smart water.
Well, Bob, it's good to see you. Thanks for agreeing to meet me today. I just have a lot on my mind, and I was hoping that I could bounce some things off you to get some advice.
No problem, Stephen. You know, it's great to catch up. How's business been lately?
Well, business has been very good. In fact, I would say it's never been better.
Well, that's great, but if it's been so good, why do you look so unhappy? You know, I've known you for almost 10 years now, and I don't think I've ever seen you so distressed.
Well,
I talked to your wife, Martha, at the grocer the other day, and she told me that you don't even sleep at night anymore.
that's true. Actually, to tell you the truth, Bob, I have a lot of things going through my mind right now. The factory is running great, and I feel like we have a good handle of customer demand. Everything there is good. Anyways, a couple days ago, I was approached by Boris, the mayor, about a new business opportunity.
Nice. Are you already supplying the cycles for the postal service? Or?
Yeah, but he thinks that providing a bicycle service that would be subsidized by the local government would help reduce street congestion, reduce pollution, and would be a great thing for both residents and tourists. It's really just part of their new green initiative. Have you heard of it?
Green initiative, yeah. I'm all about that.
Well, Bob, this contract could be worth as much as 20 million pounds a year.
20 million? Whew. Seems like a no-brainer to me. So let me get this straight. He wants to provide a rental service and they would subsidize it for you? So how would that work exactly? People just come in, pay a fee, take one of your bikes out of the shop and ride it around for a little while and bring it back when they're done?
That's pretty much it, Bob.
I guess there could be some risks involved though, but bicycles are fairly low maintenance and, well, you know that, you're the bicycle expert, so how would you handle repairs and, you know, if people's bikes break down, how would you handle that? Well, would the city pay to produce the bikes and then you would share the profits with the city, or how does that work exactly?
Something like that. I haven't really figured out the details yet, but I just don't know.
Well, what's the big deal, right? I mean, why don't you take it?
That's funny. My wife said the same thing last night.
That's what she said, huh?
That is what she said. I guess my main concern is that we are a bicycle production company. We have a solid history of making great premium bikes. However, this contract would be for bicycle rentals, a type of business that we've never ventured in. Sure, we have the bikes and the ability to make more bikes, but we've never dealt with customers like this before.
Steven, we're talking about a 20 million pound contract. You'll probably never get another opportunity like this again. You know, surely you can figure out the details as you go, but you came here for my advice, and well, here it is. Take it.
All right, let's drink to it.
Feel free to applaud, that's fine.
Encore.
It is now 6 months later. Stephen, who looked exhausted before, now could only dream of the life he had before he agreed to take on the new London bicycle rental business. He is meeting his friend Bob at the same pub he had 6 months prior. As always, they are drinking smart water. In addition to being emotionally drained from running BBC, Stephen is having marital problems. His wife Martha and him have not seen each other for over a week because of an argument they had about Stephen spending too much time at work.
Steven, you're a mess.
I know.
I've heard from a number of friends that you're avoiding them, and I haven't seen you at our foosball league games in months. You never miss those.
I love foosball. It's that blasted rental service. You know, ever since we started offering rentals, we've been bombarded with customer service complaints, along with warnings from the city of a possible contract withdrawal. If they withdrew now, we'd be finished. And I just barely convinced a banker to loan me an additional 10 million pounds for a plant upgrade. But that offer is contingent upon our company making money from the rental services. So far, our bottom line from the rental service has been nothing but red.
Sounds like you have a real problem. Maybe you could talk me through it. You know, my firm just paid hundreds of thousands of pounds to the world-renowned professors Dr. Sampson
Really?
and Dr. Fry
Okay.
to help guide us through some of our own service problems. In fact, I even earned a SEAL certification after learning some of the basic principles he taught.
Wow, that is, and I've heard how great that certification is, so
Yeah.
really, I know I need all the help I can get. And to start, I had no idea entering the rental business would be so different from the production business. Did you know that at the factory we have a Lean Six Sigma process that consistently chunks out a high-quality product every 5 minutes?
Nice.
I know, right? But this rental service is crazy. You know, 1 minute we don't have a single bike rented out, and the next minute a convoy of Japanese tour buses pulls up, and suddenly there's a line out the door. What's worse is that we have some customers who want all the bells and whistles on their bike, literally, while others would remove the seat if that would save them a shilling.
That's weird.
You want to talk about weird? Occasionally there's some bloke who doesn't even know how to ride a bike. Can you believe that? They don't know how to ride a bike. And get this, Bob, they expect us to teach them how. It's not all bad though. I love it when I get those customers who take time to learn our process. They come in, walk straight to the inventory, pick out the bicycle that suits them the best, and only come to us when they are ready for a quick and simple transaction. However, if we treat every customer like they already know what they're doing, some will get mad and some will say that we're giving poor service.
Steven, I think I understand your problem here. You want to know how you can manage variability for different kinds of customers, right?
Right. And I know I can't please everyone, but should I even try it? Should I offer the customer everything they possibly want for a price, of course? Or should I simply say no special requests? Everyone gets the same service. At least that way I can get some efficiency back.
Steven, I'm happy to tell you, there is a better way. You don't necessarily need to make the accommodation versus reduction trade-off. What if I told you I could help you turn your business around within 6 months?
Whoa! I'm not talking about doing anything illegal here, Bob. I'm not in that kind of market right now.
It's not illegal. It's CRM. I would suggest that you hire Professor Sampson. But I don't think you could afford him. You could hire me on as a consultant, and you don't even have to pay me unless your rental business is profitable.
Well, knowing that I don't really have any other option, and that I don't have to pay you, yet that is, it looks like we have a deal.
Cheers.
More accent. Sound good.
After 6 months, Steven is a changed man. His wife has moved back in with him, and his daughter now calls him Daddy instead of Steven. His business has turned a 180 from where it was 6 months ago. Although he still receives complaints on his rental business, the amount of thank you emails from the riders more than doubles the amount of hate mail. Stephen and Boris, the London city mayor, who originally awarded the contract, are meeting at a city park to discuss the seemingly magical transformation that has occurred over the past 6 months.
Boris, good to see you again.
See you. I still don't know how you did it, Stephen. You know, a couple months ago, I was 2 phone calls away from canceling your service altogether. What happened?
Well, Boris, besides a little tender love and care, I owe my success to a true understanding of what the customers actually need. I think I could best explain everything using a PCN diagram, of course.
Stephen then quickly explains the simple and powerful PCN diagram.
Don't you see it? Okay.
That PCN diagram is a really simple and powerful tool, but how does it apply to your situation?
Well, originally as a manufacturer, our process looked like this, as you can see on my paper. As you can see, we had very little interactions with the end users. We had a process that was running very efficiently. However, when we started the rental service, our process looked like this.
Okay, I see. So with the change, there's a lot more in the middle of the diagram.
Right, so all this customer direct interaction. This increased, by changing to the rental service, this increased direct customer interaction and also added a lot of variability. My friend Bob helped me identify the 5 types of variability as arrival, request, capability, effort, and subjective preference. Originally, I saw the only 2 options as either giving customers what they ask for, which is the classic accommodation strategy, or drastically limiting our services to reduce variability, which is the classic reduction strategy.
Okay, so which one did you choose?
Well, actually, I didn't choose either. I learned that there are 2 other strategies to consider, the low-cost accommodation strategy and the uncompromised reduction strategy. Low-cost accommodation looks for ways to automate tasks, hire low-cost labor, and or create self-service options.
Okay, so like self-checkout stands at the grocery store.
Yeah, that's a great example of a low-cost accommodation. Not many people recognize that. Great job. On the other hand, the uncompromised reduction strategy is all about smoothing arrival demand and carefully targeting a specific type of customer in order to reduce the variability and limit the service breadth.
Okay, so like Shouldice Hospital in Ontario, Canada. Right? They only accept patients with a specific type of external abdominal hernia, and they require patients to be at an acceptable weight in proportion to their height.
Well, that's the obvious example.
Well, I had to drop 10 stone before they work on me.
Good for you. You look like half the man you used to be, too. Anyways, we decided not to go with the uncompromised reduction because we knew that you wanted the service available to many different customers from all over the world. So, after considering all of our options, we chose low-cost accommodation.
I'm intrigued. So how did low-cost accommodation address the 5 types of variability?
Well, the secret is in the service kiosk we created, see? Let's go back to the PCN diagram. As you can see, the kiosk allowed us to move from here to here, and allowed us to move all of our direct interactions into the surrogate interaction domain. The results have been amazing. I am a changed man. My wife talks to me again, and my business is doing really well. In fact, I'm a millionaire. And I owe it all to CRM. So if you have a few minutes, I'd like to talk to you more about how things are running now. All right?
Well done, well done. So I'm going to tell you the rest of the story and really where the inspiration came from, this little dramatization. So many of you may be familiar with the Barclays Cycle hire scheme in London. If you've been to London, you've seen these bicycles all over. And learning more about the Barclays Cycle hire scheme, that's what they call it, we were able to see that this is a great example of all kinds of the variability strategies that can be implemented in a successful operation like this. And there's actually a video that we're going to show you, and it's from the London Transportation Department's website, and it's what people can watch to become familiar with this system that's all over the city. So as you watch this, keep in mind some of the things that Stephen was dealing with, as well as some of the strategies that they talked about. See if you can pick up on some of the strategies that the Barclays Cycle hire system uses.
So there you are, walking around London, enjoying the open air, when you suddenly realise that you really need to be travelling a little quicker. Now you could say take a bus or the tube, or devise some other more unconventional means of travel, or why not try a bicycle? Oh, you don't have to buy one. This is the 21st century after all. You can now hire a cycle from any of the numerous docking stations dotted throughout central London. Available 24 hours a day, every day of the year. There's no booking, and hiring couldn't be easier. But first you need personal access fee. Now there are 3 ways you can do this, either at a docking station terminal, by phone, or online, where you can pay for access and even register as a member. Members receive a Barclays Cycle hire key, which gives them quick and easy access to any bicycle at any docking point. But you don't have to be a member to enjoy the scheme. All you need is a debit or credit card, and you can pay directly at a station terminal. Just follow the simple on-screen instructions. And do take the time to read the scheme's code of conduct and safety tips. They're actually extremely important. Finally, don't forget to check your bicycle is roadworthy before you begin your journey. Child's play. Except you need to be at least 14 to use the scheme and at least 18 to purchase access. Now, once you've purchased access, you can hire up to 4 cycles, so your friends and family will be able to enjoy the scheme too. There is an additional usage charge depending on how long you ride. As this is a scheme designed for short journeys, the first 30 minutes of each journey is absolutely free, and the next 30 minutes is only £1. After that, it becomes progressively more expensive. So, to keep your costs down, return your cycle to the nearest docking station as soon as you've completed your journey. Don't worry, If there are no spare docking points to return your bicycle at that station, the terminal will show you where there are available spaces nearby. You won't even be charged for the time it takes you to get there. And you should never be more than a couple of minutes from a station, as they're only around 300 to 400 metres apart. Now, while the bicycle is in your possession, it is entirely your responsibility. They don't come with locks, so if you're not riding it, dock it back. All the bicycles are regularly monitored, maintained and replaced. But if your cycle breaks down, just return it to the nearest docking station and press the fault button. See? Simple. The faulty bicycle will now be unavailable for use until we've repaired it. And you get another cycle as a replacement. So, that in a nutshell is Barclays Cycle Hire. Give it a go and see London from a different perspective.
Okay, so there's all kinds of different variability that they have. Great examples of it in the video, but we're just going to touch on a few of them that stood out to us. So arrival variability is kind of the obvious one. So instead of having separate locations where you have to hire employees to be there from maybe 8 in the morning to 8 at night or whatever, the low-cost accommodation strategy says if you have self-service kiosks, and in this example they're all over the city, there's over 570 of these stations, thousands of bikes everywhere, and these are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So regardless of what time it is, you can always grab a bike and go. So a great example of that. So next, capability variability. So this, even though the customers are pretty targeted, so mainly adults, you have to be at least 14 to ride, they're all full-size bicycles, they're all one type of bicycle. They really cater to tourists, maybe locals that want to go downtown, or people that are working downtown. Even with that in mind, they know that some people are going to like to use the kiosks, some people are going to go on the website, some people are even going to want to call up on the phone. They actually even have a new app that they've introduced that helps you find locations, helps you route your trip. So lots of information just that these kiosks are on their website. And really that's a great example of both low-cost accommodation, since there's not a lot of people involved here, and uncompromised reduction, where they've really narrowed in on a specific target of people there. They also have those, they mentioned in the video, they have these key cards. So if you're really savvy, maybe the local that's going to use one year-round, they get these key cards, and they're the ones that are using them really quick. They're in and out of locations really efficiently. So lastly, effort variability. This was really neat, and it's something that they do differently than other large cities that have similar programs. The first 30 minutes of the ride is free. And so what's interesting is about 95% of all trips are under 30 minutes because of this. And this is a normative approach that it talks about in the uncompromised reduction strategy. So these normative approaches that basically influence the behavior of the customer with incentives like a free 30-minute ride. So people are planning their trips between docking stations just because of this. So it affects what they do, and they like the idea of getting the ride for free. Also, another thing that's unique to the Barclays cycles is they don't have locks. In Paris, for example, they've got locks on them, so you can park them wherever you want. But they encourage you to put it at a dock and make it available for someone else while you're at a restaurant or while you're shopping, because if you leave it out, it doesn't have a lock, if someone takes it, then you're going to get charged for it. So those are both great examples of uncompromised reduction. So lastly, this is a great quote from the article that really sums up the message. Companies that learn to manage the variability that customers bring to the works will find that customers are the key competitive advantage. And we really found that true to be the case with the Barclays Cycle Hire system. And thank you very much. And if you have any questions, we'll take questions.
questions?
Yes.
So is also one of the reasons why they have the 30-minute free rule, is that also to keep the accumulation of the bikes from maybe clumping too much in like one area, like if a lot of people are all going to Buckingham Palace, then if everybody just rides and rides and rides, they put it there. Is that to help normalize the distribution of where the bikes are? Or?
Yeah, since you have to dock it, if there's a station that is completely full, then you have to go to another station, right? So if everybody's going to one location, then the idea is they would fill up, outside of a ring, right? But as it said in the video, they don't charge you. If you get to a station and it's full, you push the button, say they're all full, and then it gives you time to ride to the next closest one, and it actually tells you where that is. So, kind of interesting. Any other questions? Yes.
Where does the city subsidy fit in? Is that 30 minutes? Or is that a risk that they're taking on? So 95% of the trips are that short. Where's the value for them?
So as far as our little dramatization at the beginning and this, or what is the city paying for with Barclays?
Well, just that 30 minutes sounds pretty expensive.
Yeah. So the city, it is something that they're funding. They're wanting to encourage travel downtown. They're wanting to encourage people to not drive cars, to get on bikes. And so while they do have some income, like Barclays, for example, they put millions into this just to sponsor it, to get their name all over.
I think it's
all the
around
bikes.
$5 million a year that they pay.
They're actually looking to raise prices for those progressive 30-minute intervals to make the numbers work.
Like you said, it's a lot of non-economic costs or benefits that they're looking at.
It's a green initiative.
Reducing congestion, helping the air quality, that kind of stuff.
So do you have any statistics on how many technicians are going out to like help out with broken bikes or?
Yeah, they replace about 10 bikes a day get repaired. And they have these electric vehicles with little trailers that go around and pick up the bikes that are damaged or not working, and they repair them about every day. So there's about
So the
10.
service cost is actually pretty low.
They're pretty low maintenance bicycles.
They're all the same
basic.
bike too.
They're heavy duty. Yeah, they're all the same bikes. That lowers the costs. So it's not that bad. Yes.
So you mentioned that like they restrict the age on who can use it, like for uncompromised reduction. Are there any other things that the article mentions about how to restrict customers besides just saying like 18 and older?
I would think just by the nature of the bikes themselves, since they're not, it's not going to appeal to somebody that wants to take it and go mountain biking. To the extent you can in England, I guess, but it's not going to appeal to those that want a really fast bike to, go road racing or something like that. So I mean, just by the nature of homogeneity of the bikes, it kind of does it itself.
Also, the article mentions that another strategy for uncompromised reduction is to smooth out the demand. And so by having the rental fix mechanic people come at night, in the middle of the night when not many bikes are being used, and take bikes away at that time and fix them and have them ready for the next morning. It's not really a complimentary product, but they're able to do that at night instead of having customers go into their shop with a broken bike saying, hey, we need to get this fixed right now, So usually it's complementary products, like if you have some winter sport thing, you can have a summer sport product, so to kind of smooth out the demand of customers throughout time. But mainly it's all about targeting and reducing the customers that you let into your service so that you can have a pretty standard process like Schulte's.
So you guys talked about low-cost accommodation and how you need to be shifting things into the customer surrogate domain in order to be more effective or efficient. How do you get people excited about doing more of the work? Because like when I go to the grocery store, I see those self-checkouts and I think, oh, I'm not too excited about doing that. That's just going to be more work for me.
I can answer that. So Dan, I think it really depends on the customer, because you might not like the line where you can self-checkout, but this morning when I was working out and I went through the grocery store and I felt disgusting, I wanted to get through as fast as possible, so I went through the self-checkout line. So I don't think it's about fitting with all of the customers, but certain customers prefer the kiosk at Walmart or another place, for example. And by reducing, or filling their value, filling what they need, you can actually help all the customers together.
One thing with this specific example, the nice thing about the kiosk is since they have so many tourists that are using these bikes, well, all of a sudden now they have all kinds of languages that are available in these kiosks. Whereas if it was a location that had staff, you'd have to have all these different employees that knew languages, and that'd just be a staffing nightmare. And also, in addition to that, one thing I didn't mention is when they first launched this, you couldn't go up to a kiosk and use a debit or credit card. You had to go online and buy it that way, and you got the key that you used. So it was, they actually learned, and they've adapted to make it a little bit more customer friendly, because that was a little bit too much of a hassle.
One more question.
Yes.
With the arrival cost, with the arrival. Yeah, someone's got to do one.
We were going to do
Yeah, David's got to do one.
Well, anyways, with the customer variability in arrival, how did you guys look at all about changing prices depending on time? I know there's some companies that do that, like restaurants do happy hours and other things.
Parking.
Yeah, parking as well. Did you guys look at like morning rush or going home from work rush as maybe adjusting the price? Was there any notion of that?
That is one way to do it.
Yeah, that's
Sorry, but for this specific example, we were looking back at what they did, not at what we would recommend they do. So they handled that with the kiosk, with the multiple locations, and also with the 30-minute free incentive for people to park their bikes quickly so that there's more available.
That is interesting.
That
I mean,
is
if they were
different.
to run into an issue where they, found that certain times of day, like the bikes were all being used, that would probably be a good thing to look at.
Or even like locations, like the further out you are, the more expensive it would be.
They are spreading it out. It's going out to.
Yeah. Originally, they started with 200 locations. Now they have 500.
So go to London and ride.